How well do you really know the person sleeping next to you? I used to think I knew Sarah, my wife of 10 years, better than I knew myself. But that was before the night I stood in the pouring rain across the street from our own home. Watching a shadow that wasn't mine move through the upstairs bedroom window, the soft glow of the lamp she always left on for me was illuminating a lie, a betrayal so deep it felt like it was carving out my own bones. I saw two silhouettes merge into one, and in that single, silent moment, the man I was died. A different man was born, one who understood that love could be a weapon, that the only thing left to do when your world is burned to the ground is to collect the ashes and build a trap. It started subtly, as these things always do. Strange new passcode on her phone, which she'd angle away from me on the couch. Late-night work emergencies from the marketing firm in downtown Chicago, where she was a rising star. I'd roll over at 2 a.m. and the space beside me would be cold. I'd call and it would go straight to voicemail. The next morning, she'd be full of apologies, smelling of expensive perfume and faint exhaustion. Another crisis with the Sterling account, babe. You know how it is. I did know. I also knew her boss, a decent man who went to bed at 10 p.m. every night. The humiliation was a slow poison. It began with a receipt I found in her coat pocket, not for a client dinner, but for 2 cocktails at the Violet Hour, a dimly lit, intimate bar in Wicker Park I knew she'd never take a client to. Then came the credit card statements. Hotel Indigo on the Gold Coast. Not for a work conference, but for a single Tuesday night. My mind raced, trying to build a narrative that made sense, one where my wife wasn't a stranger. But the evidence was a relentless tide, pulling me further and further from the shore of my denial. She became a ghost in our home. The warmth that once filled our Lincoln Park brownstone was gone, replaced by a chilling efficiency. Her laughter, once the soundtrack of my life, was now reserved for phone calls she'd take in the other room, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. When I'd ask who it was, she'd wave a dismissive hand. Just work. The manipulation was masterful. She'd twist my concern into paranoia, my questions into accusations. Why are you so insecure all of a sudden, James? I'm out there killing myself to build us a future, and you're here timing my calls. Maybe I need some space. She made me feel like I was the one breaking us. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at Alinea, a place we'd dreamed of going to for years. I waited for 2 hours, the pitying looks from the staff, burning holes in my pride. She never showed. A text finally came through at 11 p.m. So sorry, got slammed, rain check. I walked home through the empty Chicago streets, the city lights blurring through my tears. It sat on our front steps, the keys feeling like foreign objects in my hand. I was a stranger at my own home, a guest in my own life. The love was gone, replaced by a hollow ache. But as the sun began to rise, something else rose with it. A cold, hard resolve. The grief was hardening into something else, something strategic, something ruthless. I didn't confront her. Instead, I became an actor. I told her I had a week-long business trip to Dallas, a major conference my architecture firm was sponsoring. I kissed her goodbye at O'Hare, my stomach churning with the lie. I'll miss you, she said, her eyes already distant. I watched her drive away, then took a cab not to another terminal, but to a cheap motel a few miles from our house. For 2 days, I was a ghost. I gathered proof. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop, who delivered a manila envelope filled with photographs that confirmed everything. Photos of Sarah, my Sarah, kissing a man I recognized from her company's website mark, a smug-looking executive with a predatory smile. They were holding hands, laughing, entering the same Gold Coast hotel. The plan formed in the darkness of that motel room, fueled by stale coffee and a burning desire for justice. No, not just revenge, but a complete and total dismantling of the world she had built on my trust. I contacted a divorce attorney, one of the most feared litigators in Cook County. We used the evidence to set the legal traps. I moved our joint savings into a protected account. I documented every asset, every lie, every late night. I discovered Mark was married, and his wife was a prominent figure in Chicago's charity scene. An anonymous package containing those damning photos found its way to her. The public exposure was the final act. Sarah was set to receive a Woman in Business award at a major industry gala at the Drake Hotel. It was her crowning achievement. I made sure I was there, sitting quietly at a table in the back. When her name was called, she walked to the stage, beaming under the spotlights. And as she began her acceptance speech, thanking her incredibly supportive husband, the large screens on either side of the stage, meant to display her corporate headshot, flickered. And then they lit up, not with her photo, but with a crystal-clear image of her and Mark, wrapped in each other's arms, on the balcony of the Hotel Indigo. A collective gasp swept through the ballroom. Her smile froze, then crumbled. Her face went white. She stood there, exposed and shattered in front of hundreds of her peers. Her boss, and a now furious Mark, whose own wife was standing up from her table at the front, her face a mask of cold fury. Sarah didn't even finish her speech. She fled the stage, the sound of her heels echoing in the stunned silence. She was ruined. The award was rescinded. She was fired the next day. Mark's wife filed for a messy, very public divorce. My own divorce from Sarah was quiet and brutally efficient. She got nothing. The house, the savings, her reputation all gone. The last time I saw her, she was packing her things into a small U-Haul, her face gaunt and aged. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a vacant, hollowed-out look. She didn't say a word to me. She couldn't even meet my eyes. I still live in the house. It's quiet now. Sometimes late at night I see the lamp in the bedroom window, and for a split second I expect to see her shadow. But there's only ever one.